Hi Rohit, thank you so much for joining us on Blitz Business. It's pleasure to have you.
Thanks, Ashish. I think likewise, very excited to be joining you on this podcast.
Awesome. Let's get started. So Rohit, please tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Sure. Basically, I hail from Rajasthan, born and brought up there. Went on to do my undergrad from IIT Kanpur. Graduated in 2006 with a degree in computer science. Worked for a couple of years, did my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. Moved to London, stayed there for about 5 years, working in the world of investment banking and financial markets. But there was always a continuous itch, to come back and do my own business. Maybe the whole Marwadi bread, I think talking. But I think so. I mean, towards the later part of it, I started, I think, dabbling in a lot of ideas, started discussing with my friends over here. And so I mean, I took a sabbatical in between and then, was visiting India, meeting a lot of people, figuring a lot of things. And that's when I ended up sitting with all my co founders. So had been friends from earlier, but then we started having a serious discussion. Financial services is where I had worked all my life, right? So, I mean, and that's a sector where I think, especially sitting outside, you realize that there's so many opportunities. So, basically, that's something which helped us to crystallize, I think where we are today, and I think we'll talk about it. But yeah, so I think once we figured कि ठीक है, ये करना है, and there's so many things that we can do. So we just put in our papers and then came back, and now it's been over 7 years
Wow.
since we have been. I think trying and learning and growing and making sure. I think we
Time?
survive and grow well.
Long time,
So
7 years.
yeah, I think ever since I left a job and came back. So it has been now 7 years.
Wow. So tell us what does your company exactly?
Sure. So, see, when we came, right? So the thing is, financial services is a massive market in India, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. Even if you look at public markets, financial services will account for the majority of your large companies as well as the profitable pool of companies. However, I think what is also interesting in India, right? I mean, when you look at how the sector is penetrated, especially on the lending side, you realize that there's just so many gaps out there, right? So at the consumer side, I think where we operate, right? I mean, if you look at what the state of the market is, so there's the top 8 to 10% of the country, which you call as affluent and mass affluent. These are the guys where I think all the banks and all the large guys are after, right? I mean, that's a great opportunity. People are earning say north of a lakh or higher per month. But interestingly, 90% of the country does not obviously come under this. And that's where the interest of large banks and NBFCs to provide credit products to them, I think, significantly weighs down. Now, there are multiple reasons for that, right? One, naturally, because your per capita income, I think, declines pretty fast. So, your average ticket size, your lending capacity becomes much lower, which means the relative OPEX, like if a bank branch can do, say, 100 applications in a day, naturally, they'll focus on the top end. And India, may just by virtue of our population, is you always get enough opportunity there. Like these guys don't focus over here. Second thing also, I think when we dug deeper, we realized there are obviously serious problems with how you process their data, how you understand their profile, right? I mean, like you look at a typical shopkeeper near you. Now, this is a guy who, day to doing a 2,000 rupee ka business every day, right? So monthly he's doing like 50, 60,000 or maybe even higher business. Problem is, उसका एक छोटा सा अपना setup है. He might not be filing GST return, IT returns नहीं होंगे personally. So now when you're trying to estimate, what his real capacity is, it's very, very difficult. And on top of it, what the simple kirana guy might need, he might just need like a 20,000 rupee credit so
Correct.
that he can buy his inventory, and obviously that moves very, very fast. But the problem is no one is giving a business loan for 20,000 rupees, right? So what ends up happening? He'll go to his nearby friends or families, which is not a pleasant situation, but this is what you keep on doing. And same is the thing for people across, micro businesses, even consumer side, right? People who are working in gig sectors, people who are working in salaried sector, but in a tier 2, tier 3 city. तो वहाँ बैंक का ब्रांच नहीं होगा because obviously there is a very sparse population, but where does he go, right? So these were the sectors which we believed were massive, just in terms of the opportunity. And we believed, I think, this could not be solved in the traditional manner. So you have to use technology so that you bring your cost structure very down. You have to use the digital footprints and how the market is expanding all those data sources to help them underwrite.
So you're providing a technology stack to evaluate the MSME and then providing them lending.
Right. So what we do, we have built the entire tech stack. to underwrite customers, and it includes both consumers and small businesses. So this is an engine which works for everyone, and we provide them credit products. And these credit products are very flexible, starting from as low as 1,000 rupees, going up to 5 lakh. With tenors starting from as low as couple of months to many years, right? And this is given as per the borrower's capacity in real time. So the entire system is built in automated manner, which helps, I think, people get, I think, what they need.
So, for example, you were mentioning about Kirana store. So, let's talk about that. So, what sort of data you need to evaluate them to be able to provide, let's say, 20,000 rupees?
Correct. So if you break it down, right, I think in a structured manner, when you're trying to give credit to anyone, I think you're basically trying to judge them on 3-4 main parameters. One, I think, is the identity parameter, that the guy is not a fraud. He is what he's saying he is. And this is a problem which becomes even more acute in digital systems, because you're not personally going and meeting and, I think, talking to them. The second thing is, how do you judge his intent to repay the loan? Because again, is the customer coming in with a good mindset? How his moral fabric is, and what his willingness to repay the loan is. And the third thing is what his capacity is. So actually, how his cash flows are, and all that you need to judge to understand what should be the right loan amounts for him. So what we do for the first part, right, fraud, and for a company, like, we have a single office in Bangalore, and we have given loans to more than we have given actually more than 5 million loans across 19,000 pin codes in India.
Wow.
So we have got a CRPF guy in Jammu Kashmir who would have taken money to remit money back home. We have a grocery shopkeeper in Arunachal who has taken money to grow his business. We even have a hotel owner in Andaman and Nicobar who has taken money, to take care of his personal professional expenses. So when you are going to such length and breadth, how do you judge their frauds? And there, I think, like, we have had so many, I think, remarkable kind of fraud patterns as well, because India, I think people are quite jugadu as well. So once, like, the news percolates, okay, this is an app which is actually, giving such sort of flexible credit, you will get 99 good guys, but there'll always be a bad guy, right? Who you have to make sure you catch him at the right time. Otherwise, that one will, like, balloon up very, very fast. So that's a system where we are using a lot of digital footprints to understand whether the identity is genuine. The second thing, which is how you judge their intent. Now, historically and even today, what happens is, to judge the intent, there is a single biggest thing across the world, which is your bureau scores, which is obviously, I think, something you hear day in, day out. 750 plus score is pretty good. This is what you should maintain. The problem again is that bureau scores become a bit like a chicken and egg. So if you don't have a bureau score, no good bank or NBFC will give you a loan. If you cannot get a loan or a credit card, you cannot build a bureau score. So most people are stuck at the gating thing, right? Because they just cannot go through it. And that was our idea that ठीक है 100 लोगों को chance to do. And then out of that, maybe 30, 40, 50, whoever proves himself, they should go to the next level, but they should not get stuck there. Sure. So how do you solve that using technology? How do you use other data sources? Because ultimately, bureau score is also telling you what the chance that he will repay the loan in the future. So can you use other things to do the same? So if it's like a shopkeeper, right? So for instance, like a shopkeeper, this guy, like, I'll tell you two examples, right? Say you have two shopkeepers, same cash flow, same everything. But there is one guy who is using 2-3 UPI apps to accept customer payments on the phone. This is a guy who might be using a digital ledger app to maybe maintain his accounts on the phone. And you also know that this guy is has an English learning app because he's trying to just learn that on the side. There's the second guy who has a lot of gaming apps of the phone. He's spending a lot of time, I think, spending on that. He has a lot of your YouTube shorts and TikTok sort of apps, right? So between the two, who is more aspirational? The first one, right? He's more likely. वो कितना likely है? Is it 2%, 5%, 90%? Those sort of things are machine learning algos allow us to do.
So basically, you access the phone data and pattern, where he's spending time, etc.
So there are, I think, multiple data points, right? There are obviously your credit bureau data points as well when it's available. There is a financial data from your bank account and elsewhere. The UPI data that we are talking about, right? Then it's profile data. So we make sure we are able to use all the digital footprints to build the right score on the customer.
मतलब TikTok और Instagram का देख के तो आप लोग मेरे को दोगे नहीं, लग रहा है मेरे को.
So like, to be honest, we don't access personal data as well. So we don't really look at what you do there. But my point is, like, just an example, like, अगर आप personally किसी से मिलते हैं, just when you know, right, what he's doing, you figure what sort of a profile he is, and like, आपको उसको credit नहीं दे. We are building those behavioral things into our system as well. So that helps us to break away from the traditional ways of underwriting people.
So what is the cycle, Rohit, in terms of loan repayment? Like, what's the structure? Like, अगर कोई 20,000 का, what's the interest rate, timeline, duration? Because I can imagine it will be 18% or something, or those lines, no? Or 20, 25, something.
So, no, so what ends up happening for a typical product, right? So, basically, we will have a very flexible sort of payment timeline. But typically, अगर आप मानते हो कि आपको 20-30,000 rupees, so you will get say roughly about close to 6 months, which generally ties up with borrower capacity. But if you need 9 or if you can pay in 4, those sort of flexible systems are available on that. In terms of the rate of interest that's charged, that is a function of your borrower's credit score that our system generates. Because ultimately, what we want to do, we have created a real-time risk-based pricing system. So every customer bases their risk, they are required to pay, and that's a good system because over time, you will obviously do better and better.
With the range.
So range is so we are lending at around 20 to 30%
Yeah.
right now. So that's your interest rate, and yeah, and all the disbursements are automated on the system. So within a few minutes, you are able to get money directly to your bank account where you can use it. And the payment cycles are more or less monthly because that's something which ties into the borrower's income cycles, right? So it's a monthly MI structure.
And this, the loans which you are giving out, you keep on your own books or you further sell it?
No, so what we do, we have also we have our own NBFC license.
Okay.
So all these loans either happen on our own book or in partnership with the large co-lending partners that we have. So we do both own book lending as well as co-lending, and ultimately determines, I think, where the borrower's profile is suiting.
Oh, so what's the reason? So to help people understand, like, when do you go for your own book versus a partner's capability? Like, how do you? What's the difference, and when does one come in?
Right. So see, but there are multiple things that go in there, right? So one thing is, especially post-COVID, what we have seen, a lot of large institutions, they are realizing, some of the fintechs are building very complementary capabilities, and they want to obviously underwrite those books and like have those sort of portfolios. But वो core capabilities अलग हैं, तो वो comfort आने में भी time लगता है, right? So every lending partner will have its own criteria as well. So some of the loans, like if you have 3 co-lending partners, A, B, C, each one of them have different lending criteria. So customer profile might fit for A, someone might fit for B and C. So you determine who should get to what where. Then obviously on our own NBFC, what we end up doing, one is obviously the normal business which we keep on doing. At the same time, the more newer experiment that we have to take, because the other guys will always come a bit later when they have more data on it. So we'll have more of those experiments happening on our books first. Like, so for instance, the gig workers, the self-employed people, the tier 4 people, right? People who have historically not underwritten. Once they see the data on our book, then they get more confidence and then they are ready to take it as well. So this is what determines how the flow happens.
Understood. There have been so many lending companies that I have talked to. मतलब अभी मैं count भूल गया हूँ. So, but एक question मैं हर बार पूछना रह जाता है. So there are different flavors, right? You partner with NBFC, then you lend on their behalf. You become sort of that particular piece. You have your own NBFC license. So first is how easy or difficult it is to get an NBFC license.
So getting the license is actually getting more and more difficult today. I mean, if you ask me 5-7 years back, it was fairly easy. But relatively, what is happening? One, I think everyone is realizing how massive the gap is. So and then lending is one of the only, or I think very few sectors which is like core profitable if you do it the right manner. So every company is trying to build lending, and naturally, I think having a license gives you a lot of firepower in terms of how you can do things. You can be compliant. You can, I think, focus on that, and also, I think, interact with the regulators in a better way. So the demand for license has gone up much more strongly, and related to that, obviously, supply has tightened somewhat because RBI has to make sure that the companies are getting in with the right intent. They have the right processes and systems in place. So if you see that now over the last few years, the demand supply imbalance is heavily skewed in terms of, I think, tightening this. Though, I mean, if you ask me today, it's not easy. It's not impossible either. You obviously see many guys still getting it, right? But you have to have the right team, the right set of compliances to showcase, right experience. So, I mean, all those things you have to take before you get the license.
And what is this all? Everyone was very gaga about, let's say, fintech space, right? There were many companies and different crops which came into the picture, but ultimately घूम फिर के सब lending पे ही आ गए. You see anyone, whatever they did, अब नाम क्या लेने किसके, whatever they did or pitched to
Correct.
investors, it has all boiled down to lending. So help us understand what is happening. Like, you are from this space, like,
So see, I think there are multiple things happening there, right? Why everyone is coming to lending is very very clear कि अगर आप काफी सारे जो सेक्टर्स हैं जहां बिजनेस मॉडल्स प्रूवन नहीं है, एवरीवन नोस कि ठीक है अल्टीमेटली आपका पैसा लेंडिंग में बनेगा. पेमेंट्स आर वेरी वेरी थिन मार्जिन. सेम विद आई थिंक वेल्थ इज ऑब्वियसली वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू मेक मनी एट सब स्केल. तो लेंडिंग एवरीवन नोस कि आप ठीक से कर रहे हो तो नो मैटर व्हाट द स्केल इज यू कैन एक्चुअली मेक मनी. तो why everyone is talking about lending, that's an easier thing to understand. The harder part is if you see people who have been doing lending, right? So lending तो अपने आप में it's not a part-time business, and I think a lot of people have understood this the hard way. आप बोलते हो कि ठीक है मैं ये करूंगा और कल इन कस्टमर्स को लेंड कर दूंगा. पहली बात तो जब कोई कस्टमर से मान लो आप 100 लोग लेके आते हो for a certain product, अब उसमें से 2 ही लोग suitable हैं to actually get a lending product. So anyway that funnel does not work. So a lot of people are realizing you gave the pitch but the funnel is not fitting. So actually if you have to do lending वो अपने आप में different acquisition business होना चाहिए. So it hasn't worked for a lot of guys. Second thing which you also realize, so see, lending is inherently very different from a lot of other businesses. Other businesses, like, if it's the right way to put it, other businesses are more inclusionary, lending is more exclusionary by design. कि आपके पास लोग हमेशा ज्यादा आएंगे, you have to figure कि कौन ठीक है, कौन नहीं है. कि बिजनेस में कस्टमर आ रहा है, ऑर्डर प्लेस कर रहे हैं, you will happily take it, right? So what ends up happening, this also changes the way the DNA of the company is kept. एक होता है कि यूर पुशिंग कि लेके आओ लोग लेके आओ, इसमें उधर आने तो दो लेकिन यू हैव टू मेक श्योर कि कलेक्शन हो पाएगा. तो वो डीएनए अपने आप में वो कल्चर बिल्ड अप दैट इज आल्सो नॉट इजी. तो अ लॉट ऑफ गाइज हु ट्राई टू डू लेंडिंग पार्ट टाइम के चाहिए हम कर रहे हैं और ये हम कर देंगे, तो दे रियलाइज कि वो इन हाउस अपने आप में करना बिकम्स वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट. So now I think a trend which you are seeing is around embedded financing. I think that's a term which is also catching up a lot. कि ठीक है हमको करना है, we realize I think we don't have the DNA and the capabilities to do it, so let's partner with the right guys. So if you see, lending is something which you'll always see in the news, but like we have personally seen this. तो अगर pre-COVID बात करते हो, right, 2019, there were just in the digital lending space alone, I think there were like maybe 40-50 companies or maybe even more, right? This I'm talking of proper apps. So long tail तो anyway बड़ी है. Today now, one, I think you've been seeing some crisis or the other. I think ever since we started, पहले IFLS था, DHFL हुआ, फिर COVID हुआ. Now obviously regulations है, funding winter है. So many guys were forced to either pivot or shut down, right? Then obviously with this funding winter, people who don't have profitable, right niche figured, right PMF, they are again forced to shut down. So my point is कि this is a sector which like we competition नहीं kill करता है आपको. आपकी खुद चीजें अगर करेक्ट नहीं है तो ऑटोमेटिकली like you are forced to shut down. So if you're not building in the right manner, anyway the market will shrink, and that's happened I think overall. So like honestly speaking, I'm not worried about competitors. If we keep on doing our things well and if we keep on serving our customers, I think the opportunity is humongous. But that's something which always keeps you on your toes.
And Iskender, what is your take on this P2P lending? Is it a profitable model? What is your take in that space? P2P.
Yes, so see, difficult. So difficult to comment because we don't do it. But see, P2P in theory, and I think by design it's an interesting concept. कि ठीक है, limiting the middleman, and obviously you are solving for both the sides. जहाँ capital है और जिसको जरूरत है. Problem क्या होता है? एक तो obviously there are certain things that a middleman is expected to do, in terms of information asymmetry. एक तो वो काम रहेगा. Second thing is to build that business at scale. Then you have to make sure regulation में आप abide कर रहे हो, right? So now you see certain practices where certain guys are coming in telling the lenders, आपको guaranteed return मिल. Now this is something definitely you cannot follow, right? Because ultimately पास credit product में जा रहा है, कभी NPS bad cycle में jump भी होंगे, कभी भी होंगे. तो गारंटी करना बड़ा मुश्किल है. सो आई थिंक लाइक वंस यू मेक श्योर कि एवरीथिंग इज अलाइन्ड विद द रेगुलेशंस इन द सेक्टर, आई थिंक like that obviously poses its own set of challenges. So I think the sector will obviously go through its own overhauls, and I think things it will take, but कैसे grow होगा, क्या होगा, I think that's something we'll obviously have to see.
You don't want to dabble in P2P?
नहीं, we don't, right? Because see, the thing is, every business has its own challenges. So what we think is that this whole borrowing side, I mean, there's just so many challenges. As I said, underwriting is not easy. And second thing, underwriting is not static as well. Like 3 साल पहले हमको लगा कि चलो ठीक है, हमने एक scale achieve कर लिया, अब हम 100 crore कर रहे हैं, per month disburse, और इतने customers को हैं, तो maybe we have learned a lot. Problem is that entire, problem statement will change when you get to say 500 crore. Because now I think the problems are different, customer profiles are different. So that's something where you have to continuously learn. How you build the right, I think, collection strategies, how do you build a liabilities franchisee. So I think that in itself is a big enough problem. If you solve it right, I think there is a huge, I think, opportunity as well as the ability to serve So we are happy, I think, just going deeper and deeper. The thing that we are doing is rather कि यार ठीक है कस्टमर था, इसमें सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्रेडिट का था. So now that we have solved. But what you realize कि these are the guys who are always prone to, falling in some sort of traps, right? Because they don't have the right insurance product. They don't know how to save. They don't know how to track their financial health. And our idea is to go more horizontal. So what we have been now doing over the last couple of years is we've been building more and more of these products. So today now our customers also get support in terms of how do they save, how do they manage their financial health. And we have seen huge traction on that. Like today we have almost 30 lakh users who come to the app every month just to basically take assistance on one of the other products, then credit. And this is something which is growing very well. So I think that's a humongous opportunity. We are talking of almost 30 crore people who don't get any of such help from any financial institution. So अगर वहाँ आप ढंग से करते हैं, I think that the prize is obviously big.
And you were mentioning about, it just came to my mind, fraud. So कौन सा ऐसा fraud था which was like क्या बढ़िया चीज इसने मतलब इसने figure out किया कुछ जो it was like मतलब fraud तो किया but it was a
Yeah, so see, frauds, and then that's a continuous evolving thing, and especially in post-COVID world, again, we are talking of cyber security and so many frauds, right? But there are, I think, maybe a couple of instances I can tell you. So one is where there is a lot of ID and impersonation fraud happening. So like we have had a case wherein a guy, say, who comes on the app, and since early on we have had this system where we know that ठीक है इस बंदे को एक तरह से नहीं, on the basis of his Aadhaar or PAN, we will look at multiple parameters to make sure that the guy is not coming in different form. क्योंकि क्या होता है ना, एक बंदा आया, आपने उसको लोन दिया नहीं दिया, तो फ्रॉड की नेक्स्ट इंस्टिंक्ट होती है, अच्छा वो नया फोन लेके आएगा, नया सिम ले, नया ईमेल पर, ऑल दोस थिंग्स दे विल डू. तो देयर वाज, एंड हिस्टोरिकली व्हाट वी सॉ कि जो बैंक केवाईसीज होती थी वो काफी स्ट्रिक्ट होती थी, क्यों, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली घर जाएंगे, सब चीजें करेंगे. बट जैसे जैसे डिजिटल बैंक्स भी बढ़ रहे हैं, वी ऑल्सो सॉ कि वहां भी पीपल स्टार्टेड डूइंग मोर फ्रॉड. So there was a particular case where a guy, he created किसी like almost 100 different identities. किसी में दाढ़ी है, किसी में टोपी है, किसी में उसने लोकल अकाउंट खुला रखा है कहीं कोऑपरेटिव के. तो you can't even do this thing कि नहीं उसका बैंक के वाई से परफेक्ट हो गया, उसके फोटोग्राफ से बाकी आईडी परफेक्ट होंगे, तो you can see this guy. So this guy created over 100 identities, and you were like, just through systems you cannot check it. So how do you build systems in place where you're continuously learning and evolving with that? I think that's very, very tricky. Second thing, which was even more interesting, was आपने सब कर दिया इंडिविजुअल को, यू आर नॉट अलाउिंग. तो दिस इज नॉट ए आईडी फ्रॉड, बट क्या हो रहा था एक केस में कि देयर इज अ गाय हु कम्स इन, से he takes a loan. Now he'll ask his father or wife or girlfriend, they will come as independent borrower and they will take another loan. Now जब वाइफ का रिपेमेंट ड्यू था तो द गाय टेक्स अ लोन, ही रीपेज हर्स, एंड देन जब उसका ड्यू था तो शी डिड द सेम थिंग. तो दोनों साइकिल में दे वर एक्टिंग. नाउ इंडिविजुअली आपको लगेगा कि बोथ आर गुड बोरोवर्स, दे आर ग्रोइंग ओवर टाइम, एंड ऑब्वियसली व्हेन द लोन लिमिट्स रीच अ लार्जर अमाउंट, दे विल रन अवे. नाउ दिस इज नॉट अ आईडी फ्रॉड, बट दिस इज ऑब्वियसली आई थिंक हाउ यू आर सर्कलिंग थिंग्स. एंड दिस समथिंग आप ऑफलाइन भी जाके चेक करोगे तो भी आप नहीं पकड़ पाओगे, बिकॉज एक फादर एक स्टेट में है, बेटा उस 500 किलोमीटर दूर है, हाउ विल यू कैच? So these are the kind of things, but I think the good thing is obviously data is also, I think increasing pretty well. So how you start mapping that data, how you use data science, how you use, machine learning to solve these problems at scale, because manually anyway you cannot do. That is obviously hard challenging, like hard engineering problem. And these are the things which are always, that's why I said, you have to be on your toes. You can't ever be complacent. You're always solving.
Yeah, because other side will find very innovative ways, right? Because he will be like, अब मैं क्या करूँ? Because
correct. And like, I mean, obviously, right? And for a lot of guys, this is a proper business. 100 लोग बैठते हैं ऑफिस में, 4 फोन होंगे, 10 सिम होंगे. They'll just keep trying, like different ways to defraud you. So that's obviously one problem that you will keep facing as you become bigger and bigger.
I mean, it's a difficult one because someone is always at you trying to figure it out. So what's the road then in the 7 years for you? Like, what has been the biggest challenge while running this?
Yeah, see, so like as I said, if you start counting, one thing has been the whole macro thing. Because the macro thing has been changing. ठीक है, आपको पता है चीजें आपको solve करनी है, and that is something which will obviously change with scale. But there, कि ठीक है, आपका risk correct होना चाहिए, आपके collections correct होने चाहिए. How you acquire the customers, how you make the your profitability work, that is obviously one. But I think on top of it, what has happened, the macro thing itself has evolved a lot. So again, pre-COVID, digital lending was in an infant stage. चीजें हो रही थी, but overall scale कम था. जैसे कोविड के बाद स्केल बढ़ गया, So naturally now the regulator is acting in the right manner कि ठीक है, protection important है, data protection important है, transparency important है, and obviously a lot of things have changed. तो जब ये सब चीजें change हो रही है, how you make sure your business can remain not much impacted. The confidence in the ecosystem keeps on improving. How you make sure everything is running right. So I think that has been one of the biggest challenges because the macro thing always just hits you all of a sudden. अच्छा ये change हो गया है, कल ये हो गया है. Maybe now अचानक the customer profile or deleveraging is happening. So the macro has been, I think, one of the biggest challenge. And I think everything else, I mean, obviously has been there. But yeah, but I think now the good thing is now we have seen, I think, massive scale, right? Right now, in the last couple of years, regulators have also taken note and they have now built regulations which obviously define a level playing field. कि ठीक है चीजें ऐसे होनी चाहिए. तो बीच में क्या होता है ना, जब regulations बहुत clear, there are always bad actors in the system. और वो चीज गलत करते हैं, but you obviously also end up paying for it. But now obviously I think the systems are much clearer. You know how you want to act, and I think everyone is following it. So it obviously creates more incentives for the good players to do right for the customers, and that helps the sector in the long run.
I think I can see you have already voted, and that's political system is also part of macro. I can imagine, and it can, shape the segment. So, what is your take on that particular aspect? We are in the current political season.
Yeah, so see, like as I said, regulation and I think the governments have been like, if you ask me what we have been doing, I think it would not have been possible, I think many years back. And one of the biggest reason is because obviously the regulator is very forward looking. The government has been making sure you have the right infrastructure to build on top of, right? So if India's tech was not there, if UPI and digitization were not there, like there's just so much energy which goes in custom. Like I remember we began in 2017 and उस टाइम यूपीआई नया नया आया था. तो होता क्या था कि गिविंग लोन्स टू पीपल, आप लोन दे दोगे, बट जैसे रिपेमेंट के टाइम आएगा, आप कस्टमर बोल रहे हैं कि यार मैं बैंक के में खड़ा हूँ सर ब्रांच में, अब कैसे पे करूँ. And I said दैट वाज नेवर द आइडिया. अगर आपको इतना हेडेक लेना है तो हाउ एम आई रियली सॉल्विंग योर प्रॉब्लम. बट तो समझाना पड़ता था, लोगों को ये नहीं आता था कैसे ऐड करना है, तो आपकी सारी एनर्जी उसमें जाती थी. ऑब्वियसली दैट बिजनेस कुड नॉट हैव स्केल. बट नाउ एवरीवन इज सो कंफर्टेबल विद यूपीआई. आप गाँव में भी अगर आप किसी को लोन दे रहे हो, पीपल नो हाउ टू रिपे यू बैक, राइट? So all those infrastructural things that have happened in terms of payments, India Stack, everything else that we are building now, ONDC and all those things, account aggregator framework, I think this will go a long way. And I think as long as the government and the regulators make sure that people have the right guardrails to build on, I think that's fantastic. And I think India is far ahead of anyone else in the world in terms of that.
So, as per you are currently on track, nothing like intervention is needed, but what we are doing, just go ahead and execute.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very bullish. And I think we have seen just a glimpse of, I think, what's possible in the last few years. And I think the next decade is going to be even more amazing.
And what is Rohit that year end the NPA levels and sort? How do you manage? What is your current number?
Right, so see, the NPAs obviously also vary as per the business cycles and obviously the macro cycles. But overall, we have on a steady state basis, they have been in about 2 to 3% range, which is pretty comfortable, I think, for the kind of segment and I think the product that we operate in. So yeah, I think that's been more or less fine.
So, and also you don't take any collaterals, right? I assume there's nothing.
No.
Nothing, right? So then the question comes, how do you then? So there are a couple of aspects to it. It is first is what have you outsourced? Is the recovery is outsourced or internal? First of all.
No, so what? So see, we have, you could say, I think, done pretty much everything in house, right? So the entire tech stack is built in house, even our LMS, like loan management system, origination system, underwriting systems, collection CRMs, everything has been built in house, which because that obviously one, I think that allows you to make sure your customer experience is coherent. You're using the right strategy, you're using those understandings in a very deep manner. So mostly the whole end-to-end thing has been kept in-house. The only thing that we have obviously started experimenting is कि जो हमारे like जैसे पूरा telecalling वगैरह भी होता है, that has all been in-house, because then you know, I think, what the customer is communicating, how they are talking, how customer is responding, what we can do better. But obviously now as the books are growing and the vintage is growing, we're starting to use sort of on-ground collection agencies, which is more outsourced, right? So we take their help to do recoveries in case of the loans turning NPAs. So that's something which is outsourced, and they're also like we're building our own tech stack where we can automate the entire communication for that agent, so that we have all the I think control and understanding of what they are doing. So all those things we have in place. But yeah, I think for more or less, I think it's all enough.
And what is the insight from your lending? Like people, what's the average ticket? They're taking 20,000, 50,000, and what's the purpose for? Like mota in average, like what is it people are taking this?
Right. So see, I think that varies. I mean, obviously depends depending on the amount and I think the customer profile. But generally, what we have seen, typically the small ticket loans, say below 10-15,000 rupees, typically they get used. The largest use case is medical emergency. Because what happens today, अगर आज भी कोई फैमिली में हल्का सा भी बीमार पड़ा है, डॉक्टर के जाओगे, 4 टेस्ट कराओगे, दवाई, your bill easily jacks up to 5-6 thousand. So for a guy who is earning say median income of 25-30 thousand, this alters your bank balance, like monthly budget significantly. So medical emergencies are one of the biggest use cases. Then obviously there is this whole cash flow mismatch कि आपके bill payments 20, 24, 25 को आपका budget obviously खत्म होना शुरू हो जाता है 20 के बाद, right? Income आएगी 30 को. So how you use that, right? A lot of people are using family borrowings for that. But in today's time, जैसे जैसे family structure change हो रहे हैं, that is also not easy, right? कितनी बार बोलोगे, कितनी बार मांगोगे. So that is one of the biggest use cases, your cash flow mismatches, month-end crunches, and medical emergencies for a small ticket. Once you go to the higher tickets, what we have seen for the micro business audience, the biggest use cases are inventory purchases, shop renovations, hiring maybe more workers to increase the projects. So I think that's it. So those are proper business use cases, proactive nature ke. And on the other side, we have seen like people taking money to either pay for their kids' tuition fees, upskilling themselves, या घर में कुछ renovation करवाना है, durables हैं. So I think on our platform, because of the way we have built and the customer set that we are solving, more and more of it is non-discretionary in nature. Like it's not people are just taking it to party or like travel overseas.
इसलिए आप लोन
ये मान के चलिए, हाँ, मतलब we are not the platform to do that, right? Because we are going after a different need. We want to like create a real impact and help. Like almost 70% plus of our customer base comes from tier 2 or tier 3 or tier 4. Because that's where we think digitization will solve a real need. When I said, we are able to serve people in the far northeast or people in the like hinterlands, that is where I think we are making a big difference. So I think those are the sort of use cases where we see huge opportunity. And I think एक बार अपने right cycle I said the other products also become important. If we are now able to like solve that at least one productive use case and then we help them save better. So next time maybe he will upgrade to a better use case. He will do better things in life and that's the object.
Wonderful. Thanks a ton, Rohit, for explaining everything with so much clarity and how you're building the business. It was really wonderful. Any comments from your side? Anything you want to share to our listeners?
So been a great pleasure, Ashish. I think really a wonderful talking to you this morning. And I mean, the final thing if I have to share, see, as I said, I think when we begin, we had a dream and sort of a promise. And despite all the ups and downs that overall I think the markets have seen, I think our conviction in the system has only gone stronger. And I believe and we are obviously seeing that impact, right? If you see any of the report, the financial inclusion has increased tremendously. More and more people are able to access financial services, lending, or I think even beyond lending, across any sort of places or segments that you go. And I'm, I think, very, very positive in terms of what the next 5 to 10 years will bring for us. And I think all of us are building for that. So I think it's a huge opportunity for all the prospective entrepreneurs or people who are, like thinking about building an innings. So fintech, you always hear news, and depending on who you are hearing from, it could be hugely negative to hugely positive. But we are personally very bullish on the sector. So yeah, I think and I think I think it's the best time to take an action if you want to in the market.
Definitely. Awesome. Thanks a ton, Rohit, for your time. Such a pleasure. A lot of opportunities in fintech, guys. Go for it. Move ahead also from lending. Maybe there are something else also. Who knows?
Sure,
Thanks.
no, I agree. So hopefully, I think we'll catch up on more detail on a lot of other products sometime